Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 6. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Welcome everyone. I'm Whitney Ward. We start off with weather tonight. Just an absolutely beautiful day across the inland Northwest. Really, it felt more like June or July instead of May. Temperatures topping out well over 80 degrees.
It was fantastic, wasn't it? However, do not get used to it. A cold front moving in. We could also see thunderstorms tonight. Let's get straight to KREM 2 Chief Meteorologist Tom Sherry in the Outdoor Weather Center for more on what we can expect.
Boy, you two nailed it tonight. It felt like July-like weather, late June weather. We had a high today of 83 degrees, but you're right, that cold front is headed our way. We have mostly cloudy skies as I'm out here on the outdoor patio and the weather's set. You can see the cold front that we're talking about tonight that will manifest itself with gusty winds tonight. Obviously the cloudy skies, and then by Friday, much cooler conditions, maybe like a 20 to 24 degree temperature drop as we get into tomorrow. We'll look for a chance of some thunderstorms, although maybe not as numerous as we had thought previously, but still a chance of thunderstorms in southeastern Washington and also into areas of northern Idaho, maybe even in our area as well. We're tracking some rain and some isolated thunderstorms now, pretty much in the Blue Mountains. And then once it gets across the border and out of the Blue Mountains into southeastern Washington, looks like the thunderstorm component begins to dissipate. But we'll see what happens as that system gets closer to us here in the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area. Here's a closer view. And again, just a few showers that we're seeing and a few very isolated thunderstorms. You would think with this vigorous cold front moving through that the thunderstorm activity would be more numerous, but right now not seeing it as of yet. And we don't have any severe thunderstorm watches or warnings in the forecast right now, but a massive cold front is headed our way. We're at 78 degrees right now. You can see the wind is out of the west-southwest at about 12 to 13 miles an hour. Here's a look at your day planner forecast. We'll call for an overnight low of 46. So we got up to 83 today. Tomorrow's high, only 61 degrees under partly cloudy skies. And then for the weekend, I've got continued cooler than average. Highs only around 60 degrees. And of course, on Mother's Day, it'll be a bit breezy under mostly cloudy conditions. I'll check the future tracker computer model for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Tom, thank you very much. New at 6 tonight, a federal grand jury returned an indictment this afternoon charging the suspect in the St. Charles Parish fire in North Spokane with arson. If convicted, 23-year-old Rio Mirabal could face 5 to 25 years in prison. The suspect has 2 prior misdemeanor convictions not related to arson. He remains in the Spokane County Jail on $350,000 bond. That fire back in March caused extensive damage to the administrative offices of the church on North Alberta Street and its attached school. It also forced the closure of the school and postponed mass at the church. Luckily, no one was hurt in that fire.
Also tonight, a suspect is in custody in the March 29th shooting of a high school student. 15-year-old Preston Grzgorek was shot and killed outside of his Spokane Valley apartment. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office says a 19-year-old has been taken into custody and arrested on first-degree murder charges this afternoon. He is now in jail and expected to appear in court tomorrow. As the investigation continues, we're also told there could be more arrests. But some good news tonight at this hour. A 5-year-old girl who suffered multiple stab wounds after an attack that left her mother dead is now off of life support. That's according to her grandmother.
Well, Lily is no longer on IVs and is eating whatever she wants. According to a Facebook post from her uncle, Lily is smiling, laughing, and FaceTiming with her family. Lily has been hospitalized for nearly a month now after the attack at her home, at her mother, Cassie's home in North Spokane. Cassie was found dead from multiple stab wounds back on April 11th. We are intentionally not sharing their last names to protect the child's privacy. The suspect in the attack had been in a relationship with Cassie. He is currently in custody waiting trial. His bond was set at $1.5 million. Well, some big news for downtown Spokane. The Pacific Northwest Qualifier is coming back this year. The volleyball tournament, also usually the city's largest tourism event.
It was canceled, as you know, last year, like many of Spokane's big events and traditions. But as Ian Smay reports, the event's return is a sign of hope for local businesses.
One word, hooray. It's here, it's coming. We're so excited. It's been rescheduled from March to May, and we can't begin to say how happy we are that it's coming back to Spokane.
The Pacific Northwest Qualifier is back in Spokane next weekend. As the region's largest volleyball tournament, it also represents the city's biggest tourism event. Visit Spokane estimates that during a normal year, the tournament brings in $12 million, more than 15,000 visitors, and results in hotels seeing 15,750 room nights, which is a count of how many rooms are occupied for how many nights. Even with organizers saying that a little less than half the normal number of teams are taking part this year, it's a welcome sight for the hospitality industry.
We're actually quite relieved that we didn't get rolled back into phase 2 because we were really looking forward to the PNQ and the financial impact that it'll make, even if it's smaller than it is in normal years. We'll take what we can get. So it's great news.
It's been a tough year for Spokane hotels, restaurants, and other businesses. Major events such as the PNQ, Hoopfest, and Bloomsday have been forced to cancel or go virtual. This has led to millions in lost revenue for local businesses. But with the PNQ returning, there is hope for the industry.
I certainly hope this means we're getting back to normal. It's been a long, 14 months here. So yeah, this is a very good sign for us. We also hope this is a momentum that will carry us into the summer and into the fall.
Also drawing Spokane visitors, Gonzaga is having an in-person graduation ceremony at Meads Union Stadium this Sunday. Between the graduation and the upcoming volleyball tournaments, he says Davenport is hiring to meet the demand. And for the industry as a whole, the hope is that this is just the beginning of Spokane's comeback.
We're so happy and relieved that it's happening and that it can happen safely. So we have high hopes for recovery. This is kind of the kickoff of the recovery season for Spokane County.
In downtown Spokane, Ian Smay, KREM 2 News.
In the meantime, the Washington Hospitality Association is calling on Governor Jay Inslee to release a plan for reopening the state by June 15th. On Tuesday, the governor announced the state is on a 2-week pause, and after that, they'll reevaluate the COVID case data. The Hospitality Association is arguing that the state's current plan relies on business shutdowns to control the spread of coronavirus and claims those efforts have not worked a single time. 48 other states have already released reopening plans, so they're now asking the public to sign a petition to reopen the state by mid-June. President and CEO of the association, Anthony Antone, says the goalpost has simply moved too many times.
We need more than just a plan or a conversation about moving backwards. We really need a plan to move forward. And we wanted to bring this conversation to the forefront and get our state and our citizens talking about it.
KREM 2 has reached out to the governor's office for a response. We're still waiting to hear back.
New tonight, the Verified team looked into viral posts claiming that $25,000 in first-time homebuyer assistance was available. This is false, and here is our Evan Kosloff tonight.
The housing market is really hot right now. It's a seller's market, and buyers across the country are trying to find any way to get ahead. That led to viral posts like this one with more than 11,000 shares, which claimed that a bill passed through Congress giving $25,000 to first-time homebuyers. So let's verify. Is that true? Here are our sources: the First-Time Homebuyer Act of 2021, the Down Payment Toward Equity Act of 2021, and Andy Winkler from the Bipartisan Policy Center.
No, that's not true. This bill has not passed.
Winkler tells us that there are 2 proposed bills that we have to talk about here. Let's start with the Down Payment Toward Equity Act.
It is specifically targeted toward first-generation home buyers. In the bill text, it would allow home buyers to receive up to $20,000 in assistance or $25,000 in assistance if that home buyer qualifies as what the bill calls a socially and economically disadvantaged individual.
Then there's the First-Time Homebuyer Act, which would give a tax credit up to 10% to first-time homebuyers. But we should emphasize that neither of these bills have passed. In fact, neither of them have moved through committee. So we can verify that this claim is false. This is not currently an option for homebuyers. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kosloff.
Coming up next, after a coronavirus outbreak among school bus drivers back in March, we pushed for answers.
Making sure that they're staying safe, because they're not. They're obviously not.
We asked for the video, and tonight we are showing it to you, and you'll see how many COVID safety violations were broken.